Hello, hello. I am live and sharing my screen. I am about to go live on Facebook so we can get our math homework help started. Just give me a few seconds. So you saw me. I'm now sharing my screen. Now you don't see me. Oop. And we're live. Go live. Go live. Hello, Facebook. So we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining us, anyone who is here. And I am ready to answer your questions. I clicked on the wrong thing. I'm ready to answer your math questions. If you have any, please leave them in the comments or send me a DM personal message so that I can see what you need me to help you with. Sound is off. And I've been talking to some potential students, some students who reached out to me over the past months, hoping or thinking that they would need tutoring. And they shared with me what they're doing in class. Hey, whoever's watching, thank you for joining us. Let me go ahead and share so you all can benefit from the live. And remember, this is all for you guys. Um, I do have a promotion going on for me to answer a free question. For me to answer a question for you. Hey, Diego, what's up? Do you have a math question? I would love to answer it for you. And Tony Beasley, this is, let me write on the screen what I'm doing. This is KOG math homework help. So I'm doing math homework help, and I'm just making myself available for anybody who's doing homework at this time. And you can go ahead and submit your questions into the comment section. You can DM me. Those are the only two places that I really want you to submit a question to, because you can post a picture and you can just type out the question if you need to, or you can send me a DM and I can look at it on my phone. But I don't want to be going a whole bunch of different places to my email, whatever, to be looking for these questions. So, plus, if people can see the question right in the comment section, that'll be helpful for when I'm answering it. People can read and see what the question was that I'm answering, even though I'm gonna read it anyway out loud. But thank you for joining. Go ahead and share if you know somebody who is in need of some homework help. I know this is the time that most people need homework help because this is the time that they're doing homework. I'm going to share again in my group. I shared on my page and you share in my group, like I said I was going to do. Wave your hand if you're watching. If you come through, go ahead and wave your hand. This is a good idea. Thank you. Thanks, Tony. I actually was doing this a lot, basically every week. I was doing it on Tuesdays last school year, and I just started up last Thursday with the live homework help sessions. This is my second time this year, and I'm hoping to keep it up every Thursday. And I'm hoping to get more people to ask questions. I reached out to some people before I went live and told them that I was going live at 8 p.m. I sent emails out and everything. So hopefully we get some questions in. I'm going to be live until 8:30 if I don't get any questions. But if I do, I plan on being live until 9. All right. For a more detailed answer explanation to questions, this one is going to be kind of off the cuff answers. But if you want a more in-depth, detailed answer to your questions, I'm going to be providing a video for you. Hey Reese, what's up? You say you was coming. Glad to see you. I'm going to be providing a video tutorial, a screenshot of my notes, and also more study material for that specific concept that you need help with. That is on sale. It was $15. Now it's on sale for 10. Um, And that's because I'm so proud and so happy and thankful that I reached 300 likes on my Facebook page, Knowledge Over Grades. If you haven't liked it, go ahead and like it. So this was like a big milestone for me since I've kind of was at like 260 something for like 2 years. And I was wondering when it was going to increase. But with me doing my live series, 2 weekends ago, and with me kind of like just being more consistent with posting and stuff, I just got the attention of more people, and more people started liking my page. Reese said, "What's going on? Glad I could tune in." I'm glad you could tune in too. And that's why I'm having the sale on the Ask Me service that I'm providing. $10. You can go to my website, knowledgeovergrades.net, and get your full package of an understanding and explanation of the concept that you need to understand. I know it's getting in the thick of the semester. Anybody who is in school, college, and this is the time that midterms are coming up. This is the time that it's easy for you to fall behind. Hey Sonia, thanks for joining. Told you I was going live, right? um, yeah, this is the time that people could start falling behind because um, you've been learning, and maybe you didn't understand some things. And you know how school is, especially college. Teacher puts stuff on the board, they keep going. So you got to figure out how you're going to um, go back and grab that information, get a stronger understanding of it so that you can master it and move on to the next things and master the next level of information that you're going to learn. Because if you can't solve for x, then you can't do systems of equations. You can't plot a line on a graph, different things like that. So if these things sound familiar to you, or if you know you're behind and you're not understanding something in particular, even if you can't really, if you don't know the word for it or the name of it, go ahead and just explain it in the comment section, and I can try to see if I can understand what you're saying and go ahead and do a little bit of a tutorial for it. Let me check my YouTube. I got one person watching apparently on YouTube. Thank you for joining in. So I think I want to try to do a little bit of something, even though nobody asked me any questions until 8:30 for another 18 minutes. So some people are working on and may have passed this concept, but working on factoring. Factoring polynomials, binomials, trinomials, um, monomials, nomials. So nomials are basically terms that involve I'm sorry, trying to make sure I'm checking everybody and everything. Um, terms that basically have a variable and a number. So, and these are multiplied together, which make a term. So something like 2x. This is a monomial. Mono means one. Monomial. Something like this, 2x plus 5. This is a binomial. So no meal. Okay, I spelled it right. Bi means two, right? Dos. So we have two terms here. A trinomial would obviously be three terms. So let's say 2x squared plus 5x plus 6. This is a trinomial. And everything binomial and up would be considered a polynomial because poly means more than one, many. Um, so maybe you can see a term that has four. See a nomial. I want to say nomial that has four terms or 6 or 10. That's a lot. Um, but sometimes, thank you, Miss Nadine, for sharing. Sometimes you're going to be asked to factor a polynomial. That sounds familiar, right? Factor a polynomial. So let's see how we can do that. I want to go over things that you guys are probably learning now, maybe fell behind a little bit in. Hey, Asia, thanks for jumping in. So here's a nomial. Tell me which type of nomial this is. Can anybody tell me what type of expression this is? Hey, Carla. This is an expression. The expression is basically terms that don't have an equal sign at the end of it. This is a binomial because there are only two terms. So there are two terms, and you may be asked to factor this binomial. So the first step in factoring a binomial would be to look at both of the terms and see what they have in common, right? So I'm looking at this first term. It's y cubed, or y to the third power. Y to the third power. Okay, cool. That means, so y to the third power means y times y times y. All right, that's the same as y to the third power. Then we got 9 times y squared, or y to the second power. So we got 9 times y times y. Cool. That's what y squared is. So now if we look at them like this, now let's ask the question again. What do these two terms in this binomial have in common? Well, I see a bunch of y's, so I'm going to circle the amount of y's that both terms have in common. And this one, the last one, only has two y's. I don't see any 9s in the first one, but I do see 2y, so I can circle that. What is 2y's multiplied together? Well, we just broke down what y squared is. We said it's y times y. So we can just say that that's y squared again, and this is also y squared. So we can say y times y squared plus 9 times y squared. That's what we got. Y squared is definitely what both of these terms have in common. So what we can do is, since they're being multiplied to those other pieces, the y squared is being multiplied to the y in the first term, and the y squared is being multiplied to the 9 in the second term, we do the opposite of multiply, which is divide. Okay, so we're going to divide, and I'm going to draw this bracket here. Hold on. What? You can't see your work is overlapping the Facebook messages? What does that mean? You can't see? Never mind, I moved it. Oh, so on your screen, it was overlapping. Okay. Talking to Reese. All right, so um like I was saying. Oh yeah, so y squared is what both of these have in common. System of equations. Okay, so I'm reading Asia's question. She said, "Hi, I'm working on system of equations, and I got caught on some, specifically those questions. Two angles are complementary. The two angles are complementary. Is the sum of their measure is 90 degrees. The measure of the angle is 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. Find the measure of the first angle." Okay, cool. We can work on that right after I'm finished this, which is going to be quick. I'm almost done. All right, so quickly, these two have y squared in common, so we can divide by y squared. So we got y times y squared divided by y squared plus 9y squared divided by y squared. So the y squares cancel because anything divided by itself is 1. So the y squares cancel. The y squares cancel over here. But we have to account for that y squared that we divided out on the outside. So these cancel, and we got y left over, plus these cancel, so we have 9 left over. So our factored binomial, which used to be y to the third plus 9y squared, is now y squared times y plus 9. There you go. All right. So now Asia had a question. Let's get to it because that looks very interesting. All right, I'm gonna try to make sure I understand it right also. Systems of equations, okay. I think we have to make an equation out of this information. So, systems of equations. Thank you all for joining. I got 4 people watching right now. That's cool. All right. System of equations, angles. Two angles are complementary. So what does complementary mean? Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. Okay, good to keep in mind. Complementary angles add up to 90 degrees. All right, so it says two angles are complementary is the sum of their measures 90 degrees. The measure of the angle is 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. Okay. Find the measure of the first angle. This sounds like one equation though. So let me see. 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. So let's say A is the second angle. No, A is the second angle. Make sure we're labeling our variables. And the first angle, I'll say first equals F equals first angle. Sorry, it was the first angle is 18. Okay, yeah, I kind of got that, Asia. First, sorry. First angle, and we can say that the first angle is 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. So we have to make an equation for 18 degrees more than, if I'm 18 years more than or older than, more than and older than are the same. That means whatever age you are, add 18 years. So whatever degree we're talking about, we're going to add 18 to it. So 18 plus. That's where we can start with. So 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. 4 times the second angle, that would look like this. 4 times A, 4A. 4 times the second angle. Hey, Mr. Donnell, how are you? Thanks for joining. So the first angle equals 18 degrees more than 4 times the second angle. Remember, A equals second angle. And also remember that both of these are going to add up to 90 degrees when we add them up. So let's see. 18 plus 4A, that equals what the first angle is. So F plus A, we got one angle, we got the first angle, we got the second angle. I didn't want to use S because S usually looks like 5. That F plus A equals 90. Cool? F plus A equals 90. So that looks like this, basically. 18 degrees. Oh, no, we don't know. We don't know that yet. I'm going to go like this. This is 90 degrees right here. 90-degree angle. Whenever you see that box, that's 90 degrees. We can say that this one, let's say this one is angle A, this is angle F, right? F plus A is going to equal 90 degrees. All right? F plus A equals 90 degrees. That's where we get that equation from. Now we can fill in. We can actually substitute F for what it really is. F is actually 18 plus 4A, and A is just A. Now that looks like 9. A is just A equal to 90. Cool? Break out of the parentheses. So we got 18 plus 4A plus A still equals 90, because all you're doing is adding. Now, what do? We combine like terms. Guys, don't forget to share. This would be very helpful for someone else, I'm sure. So go ahead and share to your friends and stuff. So we're combining like terms. That means that we're going to see what terms in this equation, or this side of the equation, the left side, are in common. I see 4A and I see A. A is basically 1A. That's an invisible 1 in front of A. And then I see 18. 18 doesn't have an A, so therefore that is not a like term. So I can add 4A and 1A and get what? Wrong color. 5A. 18 plus now 5A equals 90. I'm moving up here. So 5A, 18 plus 5A equals 90. Cool. Now we're going to solve for A. We undo the last thing happening to A. That's what I always tell my students. Undo the last thing or operation happening to A. So let's look at A. I'm going to isolate A real quick. A, what's happening? What's the first thing closest to A? A times 5. 5 times A. Then what happens to that 5 times A is being added to 18. That's the last thing that is happening to A. Adding to 18 is the last thing, so that's the first thing I'm going to undo. So I'm going to undo, since 18 is positive, I can subtract to cancel it out and make it 0 on both sides. Thanks for the thumbs up, love it. 18 minus 18, that's 0. And then we just had 5A. 90 minus 18. That's how I like to do my subtraction. 90 minus 10, because 18 is 10 plus 8, right? Hey, Shanice. 18 is 10 plus 8, right? All right, so 90 minus 10. 90 minus 10 is 80. What's wrong with me? And then 80 minus 8. 80 minus 8 is 72. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Chuckles, I called you out because Shanice called you out. So if you need help in math, jump on in, ask your question. Now we got 72 divided by 5. And I'm going to use my calculator. And I got 14.4. So divide by 5 on both sides. 5 cancels out. We got A equals 72 divided by 5 is 14.4. And there you go. A, so what was the question? Because we always got to go back to the question and see if we answered the question. It says find the measure of the first angle. Okay, we found it. Remember A equals, oh no, we didn't. A equals second angle. So see, got to go back to the question. We found the answer to what A is equal to, the second angle, but we got to find the answer to the first angle, which is F. And remember, F is equal to this right here, 18 plus 4A. All right, so I'm gonna take a pic. I'm gonna save this real quick, and then erase. So what we're doing, I'm gonna call this Asia degrees complementary. 3. All right. And Asia, I'll send that to you. Erase. All right, don't forget 18 plus 4A. Somebody type that in the comments real quick. 18 plus 4A, so I don't forget. That is what F is. You want to solve for F. And remember, I'm clearing this screen, okay? All right. 18 plus 4A. That's F. That's the first angle. All right. And remember, oh man, okay, so remember the equation. It was 18 plus 4. It was F plus A equals 90, right? And 18 plus 4A is F. Plus A equals 90. We solved for A. A is equal to 14.4. All right, cool. That means that we go back to the equation and we plug in for what A is. So we got 18 plus 4 times, not A, but now it's going to be 14.4 plus not A, but 14.4 equals 90. Thank you, Letitia, for sharing. Now we can do some calculations. 14, so we got 18. Oh, no, we don't need to do all this. We just need F. I'm trying to solve both sides of the equation. We just need F, which is this part. F is the The first angle. That's why I call it F. Okay. 18 plus 4 times 14.4 is 57.6. And add that to 18, 75.6. That is the measure degrees in degrees for angle, the first angle. How did that feel to you, Asia? Did that make sense? Was that helpful? I hope so. I'm going to save this as well. Asia. I'm getting it now. Oh, great. Okay, let me complementary 2. Cool. I'm going to send it to you. All right, you said I'm getting it now. I just be having issues putting certain problems into equations like these ones. A question like a vendor sells hot dogs and bags of potato chips. A customer buys 4 hot dogs and 2 bags of chips for $90. Another customer buys 5 hot dogs and 3 bags of chips for $11.75. Find the cost of a hot dog. I can do those problems. Okay. It made a lot of sense. I put 14.4 as the answer and I had just guessed at that point. Thanks. Okay. Yay, you're welcome. But remember, you wanted the answer. The answer you wanted was the angle, the measure of the first angle, which is 75.6. Are you using an online system like Alex maybe? What school do you go to, by the way? Because I know Mercer County Community College uses Alex a lot in their algebra classes. Um, let's do that question that you just asked. A customer buys hot dogs and 2 bags of chips for $9. Oh, 4 hot dogs and 2 bags of chips for $9. Another customer buys 5 hot dogs and 3 bags of chips for $11.75. Find the cost of the hot dog. Okay. You say you could do it, but I'm sure that a lot of other people can use that question answer to that question too. You say I go to American Military University's online school. Oh, okay. Yeah. That means that you definitely probably need some assistance. Hey, Kat DiFilippo, thank you for joining. And I never heard of Alex. Oh, okay. That's okay. It's a popular online math programs that a lot of students, a lot of schools use. So let's do that system of equations question because that's what that is. And I'm excited. System of equations. So the question would be, how do we know? Hey, thanks, Sean Williams, for the thumbs up. How do we know that this question is a systems of equations question? I'm going to write the information. If everybody could like point their attention to Asia's second question in the comment section where it talks about chips and hot dogs. So she says a vendor sells hot dogs and bags of potato chips. So we got hot dogs and chips. A customer buys 4 hot dogs. So customer one buys 4 hot dogs and 2 bags of chips for $9. I'm gonna say chips for $9. And then customer two buys 5 hot dogs and 3 bags of chips. 5 hot dogs. I'm writing crazy. Hot dogs and 3 chips for $11.75. That's why you know it's a system of equations, because you got two different scenarios. These are two different people standing in line. One, they probably don't know each other. They are getting separate orders, and that's how you know it's a system of equations. However many people, thank you, Eka Berry, for joining. However many customers we present, or we explain our scenario or their orders of, that's how many equations are going to be in this system. And the more systems that you, the more equations that you get in the system, that's when you're moving into linear algebra. That's like an actual class that talks about systems, and you'll hear what is it called, echelon. Yeah, I remember learning about that. It was making sense, and then it stopped making sense, and then I had to like really really try hard to make it make sense again. But this is the beginning of that. Usually in algebra, you'll see two equations, and they may add a third equation in, and it's usually just two variables, and they may add a third variable in. So it might be x and y at first, and then you might get x, y, and z. But in linear equations, you're going to be like on the next level where you're going to have more notation. So anyway, let's turn these customers' orders into equations. So let's say H is hot dogs, so we don't get lost with our variables. C is bags of chips. Gotta know that. All right. So the um first customer, I don't even want to put C because we already have C as our bags of chips. So just the first line is going to be the first customer's order. Um, First customer had 4 hot dogs, so 4 H's, and is plus, right? The word and means plus. Plus 2 chips, or 2 bags of chips, so 2C for $9. So all of that, 4 hot dogs, 2 bags of chips, came to a total of $9. So equals a total totaled out to be spent $9. That's the other thing. It's really important to know how to translate um, math words into English words. That's the best I can say it, because really math is a different language. Math is its own language, and we have to be able to translate what it's really saying so that we can be able to solve these problems. And also, we want to be able to translate English into math, and that's what we're doing now. I also have uh I found a like basically a algebraic to verbal translation, word problems to equations. Yep, exactly, Shanice. Um, if anybody wants me to send them this translation, so just like I'm doing, helping you see that an equal sign means that you're totaling out, and that the word and means plus, that you're adding. There's like a whole sheet of these types of translations, and I can send it to you. So put a, let me see, write send in the comment section, and I'll send it to you. All right, cool. So the second customer, 5 hot dogs plus how many chips? 3 bags of chips. And how much did he spend? $11.75. Cool. All right. We got our equations. We translated our word problem, our English. Okay, I'll send it to you, Asia. Cool. We translated our English situation to our math equate system of equations. All right, so what we're going to do now is use some methods. So one of the methods is the substitution rule. That sound familiar? That means what we're going to do is we're going to solve for one of the variables, either h or c in one of the equations. I'm going to look at the first equation. This takes a couple steps too, and I'm going to have to erase at some point because I'm going to need a lot of space. So we got 4h plus 2c equals 9. We want to substitute, or we want to isolate c. That's what I want to isolate. So I'm going to solve for c, get c by itself. The first thing happening in C is that it's being multiplied to 2. The second thing is that it's being added to 4h. So that's the last thing happening to it, and that's the first thing we want to undo. So we want to undo positive 4h by subtracting 4h on both sides. This is where people get tripped up, because when you bring down this 2c, on this right side of the equation, a lot of people are like, well, that's going to be 5h, right? 9 minus 4, that's 5, right? Yeah, 9 minus 4 is 5, but we have 9 minus 4h. So these two terms are not like, they are different. 9 doesn't have an h. That's the only way you'll be able to subtract. So since they're not like, we're just going to keep them separate. 2c equals 9 minus 4h. Cool. All right. We still want to isolate c, but it's being multiplied to 2. So we undo that multiplication by using division. Divide by 2 on both sides, balancing everything out. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 1 times c is c. And now on the other side of the equation, we can leave it like this, or we can write it as 9 over 2 minus 4h over 2, but that would simplify out to 2h. So I'm just going to write it like that, because 4 divided by 2 is 2. All right, we isolated c. We solved for c. c is equal to 9 divided by 2 minus 2h. Awesome. Next step we're going to take, I'm going to erase what the variables mean, because they're pretty self-explanatory. Next step we're going to do is go to the other equation. I'm going to use a different color. Go to the other equation and substitute where we see c. So we got 5h, thanks for the hearts that I just saw. 5h plus 3c equals 1175. Awesome sauce. C is right here. We want to plug in for c. Why? Because that is going to, I'm gonna just let you see real quick. So 5h plus, we're gonna plug in for c. So instead of writing c, we're gonna write what c is equal to. 3 times 9 divided by 2 minus 2h equals 1175. Question: how many variables are in this? How many different types of variables are in this new equation right here? I just see one type of variable, and that's h. And that is the goal, because now we're going to be able to solve for h, and we're going to be able to see how many hot dogs, how much the hot dogs were. That's the question. Let me go back to the question. Find the cost of a hot dog. Oh, yes. We landed right there. Find the cost of a hot dog. Okay, so that's why we use the substitution method, so that we can find the cost of, or so that we can isolate one variable in the equation. All right, so we got 5h plus 3 times this expression in the parentheses. You ever heard of a property called the distributive property? That's what we're going to use. Distributive means that we're going to distribute what's being multiplied on the outside to both terms on the inside. And don't you forget that it goes to both of them. All right, so we're going to have 3 times 9 halves, or 9 divided by 2, or 9 over 2, and 3 times 2h equals 1175. Cool. All right. 5h. This 5h is just trailing along. We got got a little bit of a issue that a lot of people get stuck on. Somebody commented. Hold on. A lot of people get stuck on um fractions like bad. Some people hate fractions. Thank you, Shad, for joining. So when we're multiplying fractions, right? It's basically, let me get another color. Brown. We got 3 times 9 halves. We're multiplying, it looks like we're multiplying a whole number to a fraction. It's easier if we multiply a fraction to a fraction, because I'll show you. The way we convert a whole number to a fraction is just by writing that number over 1. Because 3 divided by 1, 100 divided by 1, anything divided by 1 is itself. So writing 3 as 3 over 1 is basically writing that number over. So 3 over 1 times 9 divided by 2. Now the rules for multiplying fractions is you multiply straight across the top and straight across the bottom. That is not hard. That's like the easiest rule in fractions world. What's 3 times 9? 27. What is 1 times 2? That's 2. All right, so we got a fraction. 27 divided by 2 is going to give you a decimal. I'll say that it's okay to have decimals because we're actually dealing with money, and money is always expressed in decimals. So 27 divided by 2 is 13.5. Cool. All right. I'm gonna save this again because I need to clear the screen. I don't have enough space. Asia coming up with all the questions. System of equations. As you see, I have a plethora of screens that I've saved for people. So remember, over here we did substitution method. Should have wrote that down somewhere.